Check, check, check. Mic check 1, 2. Check, check, check. Mic check 1, 2. Hey guys, AJ Town here live with the T Storm Chaser. Sorry about that brief little delay there. There you go. Hey guys, AJ Town here live with the T Storm Chaser. Sorry about that brief delay. I was in the process of getting our TikTok up and running. I certainly do apologize again for that brief delay. Like I said, was getting TikTok up and running. I'm not 100% ready. My lights aren't on. There you go. Now you guys can see me fully. We're going to start discussing this winter storm that's behind us, what it's going to be moving, when it's going to be moving, how much snow we're going to get, and what we're going to be looking at. It's unfortunately on its way. We do want to take a quick look at that national. Let me get that up and running here. We're going to take a look at that national map here to kind of see where things are looking at. As we get that loaded here, we do start seeing that. Give me just a center. Give me a second here to get that low pressure system is down here, right, moving across the Rockies. There is where we can see it right now. That's really going to pick up some speed and really start pushing its way eastward. As that does continue to move its way eastward, that's when we're going to start seeing things really start to ramp up and really start to move across the region. As that does start to move into the area, we will start looking at some of this winter storm as it does start to move into the area. What are we looking at? When are we expecting this nasty, nasty storm to start moving into the area? We'll break that down here hour by hour in just a few minutes. We're going to take a look at the latest European model as we do start to see things start to form. About that 18 Zulu is what we really start to see things pushing up from the north. So about that noon, 12, 1, 2 o'clock time frame is what we are looking at some of this according to the European model. As we go into the 00 Zulu, so about that 6 o'clock time frame is what we really start to see things ramp up here. This will be after your commute home is what we are really starting to expect things to start ramping up. We do see that snow precipitation out west, and then as we do start to move to the east there, further back to the Sioux Falls area, we do expect that mixed precipitation and rain to start moving through. Coming into Tuesday there too, we do start to see some of that as this system, low pressure system, does start to move through there. It jumped on me, sir. Sorry. As that low pressure system moves across our region, we do expect that hurricane effect where things are going to loop around this low pressure system that we are going to be seeing come through the area. That'll continue to move through the day on Thursday. And then as we get into Friday morning there, we do expect to see things really start to taper off. Some isolated snow showers sticking around through the day on Saturday and Sunday. We're watching another little clipper system on Monday that will push through much of the southern portions of our viewing area there. Iowa into Illinois and Indiana Monday into Tuesday. That'll quickly push off to the north and to the east. We do see that much of the upper peninsula there and upper portions of Michigan there is going to see a really nice snowstorm system stick around too with that as it goes into... Give me just a second to get the scanner turned down. As we do see that start to move through the area there on Monday through Thursday of next week for that area, that is not going to impact our area on that good news. So, mentioning that, let's take a quick look at your run totals for your ice accumulation here is what we're going to jump into. So I kind of feel like the European model really overdoes it with ice accumulation totals. We're looking at about a 1/4 inch of ice here for the Sioux Falls area, and then up in to the east of the Aberdeen, South Dakota area there, we are seeing a little indication there of upwards to 1 inch of ice for some of that area as that goes through the day on let's see, let's back that up just a brief second. That will stick through the day Tuesday, so it'll come in Monday into Tuesday is what we are looking at with that ice accumulation later in this evening here. Snow totals, let's take a quick look at snow totals for the region and see what we are looking at according to the European model. The European model really brings in the snow system through the week. Good news is, guys, this is not going to fall all at one time. We're going to be looking at this over the course of the next 72 hours to next 100 hours is what we are looking at for this pushing through. So this is not going to accumulate. You can watch here as we go into... So 24 hours, 30 hours, 6-hour increments is what this runs at. You can see that this really does just bring in some snow over the course of the next 72 to 90 hours. So that is definitely a good little factor there that we are looking at, is that that's not going to be moving through that course of a big dump like we've seen last week. This is going to be over the course of a period of time. For the Sioux Falls area, the European model is putting it right about that 3-inch mark. You can see how close of a mileage difference there it is. So there's FSD. Here's that heavier band. So you can see that it's right. It's about 75 miles as that crow flies. So again, FSD is here. So that's Sioux Falls. You can see, again, just to the west there is that heavier band right through here. That'll bring us that chance of seeing it. So if this system does shift just a little further to the west or east there, we could see some of that heavier snowfall as that does continue to look. So again, there's Sioux Falls. Again, 55 miles, 40 miles. You can see it's not going to take much of a shift there for down in Yankton area. There's some heavier snow just to the west of you guys, literally just miles to the west. So it's not going to take much for this snow system to shift. The heavier snow bands, again, up in the Brookings area there, you can see it's not going to take much for the Brookings area either to get that to shift, to bring that snowstorm, heavier snowstorm. Same with the Pierre area there. You can see that right about that 2-inch or 2-foot mark is about 40 miles to the west there. So Rapid City, again, not much of a shift either to see these snow totals come up any. So as we do continue to monitor this latest weather, we do have many, many warnings, advisories, watches out. Here's a blizzard warning for that area there in. We have an ice storm warning for that area. Watertown, Siston, Webster, Clark. We do have an ice storm warning. Winter weather advisory does include the Sioux Falls area. It is just south of that Brookings area. Sorry, Gabe. Winter storm watch is for that area. You can see it's mostly east of the I-29 corridor. Winter storm warning for Pierre, Aberdeen, and the areas there in purple. Again, that blizzard warning is in effect for everything except for the Rapid City area there, just to the west of. That is actually going to be a winter storm warning there for that area. As we take a look at one of our maps, one of our many maps of snow totals, you can see Belle-Fourche area there, almost that 2 feet of snow. Pier 13, just a little over a foot. Mobridge, just over a foot. Aberdeen area, about that 10.6. Brookings, about 5.5. Sioux Falls, about 3.3. Yankton, about 2.7. Sioux City, about 1.1. So this is just one of the many model runs that we look at and kind of do. We did to the 25 percentile of seeing this ice accumulation. You can see the heavier band is right up in that Watertown area there, that Watertown, Siston, Webster area there is what we are seeing for that heaviest snow bands that are, or that ice accumulation is going to be right in that ice warning. Now we're doing the 25 percentile. So if we go higher, that's the 50 percentile is going to be what's kind of expected. That puts Sioux Falls in a lot more of an ice accumulation. I think this model run really overdoes it, so I dropped it down to the 25 percentile. Now let's take a look at your timing, kind of see when things will move through the area. As that does continue to start to ramp up there about that 1 o'clock time frame, 2 o'clock time frame, we start to see things start to move into the area. About that 7, 8 o'clock, we do see that heavier band that did create there over the Nebraska area. We do see some of this heavier rain is pushing through on tomorrow morning. So do expect a nasty commute. We do see some of those heavier bands of snow that is creating over that area of, you can see that. We'll definitely zoom in here in just a second and kind of look at zooming things in and seeing what will, in fact, we'll do that. Let me transition back here. Sorry. Give me just a second to get back to where I need to be. Nope, it's not letting me jump. Not letting me do what I want to do. Do apologize there. We lost internet connection there for a brief moment. I'm waiting on my tablet to catch back up so I can make sure that I'm right along with you guys and following. Make sure that everything's... All right, there we go. My tablet is caught back up. So we'll go ahead and put this map back into motion, get things moved over here. As we do start to put things into play here, you can see right about here, about that 420. Let me get that shifted there. There you go. About that 420, we start to see some of this ice accumulation starting up northward there. We do see Watertown, Aberdeen, Redfield area. We do see a little bit of a hint starting in southeastern South Dakota there. As we put this back into play there, we do see then about 7:15, we really start to see things ramp up here. Put this back into play here. We do see some of these isolated cells down in Nebraska really start to grow strength. We do see much of this red area is going to be that mixed precipitation, going to be that ice accumulation. As we do put it back into play here, we do start to come back in and see that is going to really start ramping up here down in the Nebraska area, this heavier rain. And you can see how heavy this rain is as this does start to continue to progress its way northeastward. This also does start to really ramp up again as it comes into the South Dakota area. We really got to pay attention to the temperatures. As we do pay attention to those temperatures, that'll start really producing some of our snow. As that does progress northeastward, we can see these heavier bands out west of the Sioux Falls, out west of I-29 corridor, about that 281 westward there along the I-90 corridor. We do see right through the Sioux Falls area some of this ice accumulation there about that 3 o'clock in the morning. So as you guys wake up, do expect some ice accumulation for your commute to work. So as you are working or on your way to work there, So we do expect some of that ice accumulation. We do see things really start to ramp up again, back to that rain shower mix as well. Come in your morning commute on tomorrow. We do see things start to change over to snow about that lunch hour, a little before that lunch hour on Tuesday. So as that does continue to start to produce of some of that rain snow mixed, we start to see that snow sticking around. We do see those heavier bands. We do see this wraparound effect too that is going to bring us our chances of seeing that ice accumulation in the Sioux Falls area. I'm going to be right about that 10th, maybe a quarter inch of ice for our area. Now as we take a look at this latest HRRR model run of snow totals, we do see this puts the Sioux Falls about that 1.1 inch, 4.1 for Brookings, Siston area about that 8.4, Aberdeen 13.6. Now this is going to be 48 hours out is all. So remember that for the next 48 hours, this is what we are looking at for snow totals. We're not seeing the snow totals as completely as the system is out there. So here's the latest from the National Weather Service on timing, what we are looking at. So it does suggest about that icing accumulation, about that little over a tenth of an inch for the Sioux Falls area. It does push it a little further north there, over a quarter inch further north we go. About 1 to 4 inches of snowfall. Again, reason they're putting this a 1 to 4 and everything too is we really got to watch these temps across the region and kind of see what that is going to look at. Speaking of temps across the region, let's look across the nation. Are we going to be looking at a white Christmas? What are we going to be seeing with that? You can see much of the area, much of the nation is going to be seeing some sort of, we're going to be seeing some of that snow impact across the nation there. We do have a dry pocket there that is going to allow some of the snow to melt and creating some of that mixed precipitation there that's going to actually that dry area there is going to melt all the snow. Back home, we'll take a closer look. As we take a closer look, you can see that will be maybe about 4 inches of snow on the ground. So we definitely will see a white Christmas for the upper Midwest and western portions of South Dakota. Western portions of Midwest there. We are seeing a white Christmas is what our prediction is. As we take a look at our prediction outlook for the next of 19th to the 25th, we are seeing it's leaning above that near normal, or that leaning above normal for the area there for South Dakota, Minnesota, some of Nebraska, some of North Dakota. As we look at our temps, unfortunately, folks, we are looking at cold temps moving across the area. As those cold temps are going to move across the area, looking at our 7-day outlook, we are looking at it as well on the 7-day outlook. Things are going to really start to cool off over the next 7 days. Unfortunately, folks, we are going to mention this. We do have those, you did see on that HRRR, those stronger storms pushing across the region. Slight risk is going to be issued for the area there in yellow. That does include Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas area, as we are dealing with snow and some of that rain, ice accumulation. Further south, they're going to be dealing with that chance of seeing some severe weather. As we go into Tuesday there, that's going to shift southward and bring Louisiana, Mississippi, and some of Texas area in the enhanced risk of seeing some of that severe weather. Then as we go into day 3, so this would be Wednesday, that continues to progress its way southeastward and bring the chances of seeing some severe weather there. Over Florida, I know we have some followers down in Florida, some followers that travel down to Florida for the winter, so we are going to cover that real quick. Florida is going to be looking at a chance of about a 15% risk of seeing some severe weather push through that area. As we take a quick look at your road reports across the area here, we're going to pull that up. We can see that road conditions are currently slick. As we look at over the out west there, we are seeing some fog really push through the area. As we take a look at your I-80 area, Iowa area there, I-80 corridor. Good news is we're not seeing any road conditions that are poor. As we're into the Minnesota area there, we are seeing some of these Minnesota roads are considered completely covered or partially covered. What we are seeing with the winds that are pushing out of the south there, it is pushing the snow-like conditions across the roadways, creating slick road conditions. Let's see. Here is a look at that. You can see those blowing snows further south there is what we are looking at. Let me see if I can pull up anything different here. So right now, ice on the roadways is what is being reported just east of the Laverne area there. There by Rushmore 2, we are also seeing that as well. With this freezing fog, that is creating some of that poor visibility as well. As we look at our South Dakota 511 road conditions, we are seeing road conditions basically west of or east of the West River. East of the river there is going to be your isolated, scattered, slippery. We are seeing some road conditions there that are being reported wet. And then we are also seeing fog, low visibility in the Madison area as well, creating some travel concerns there. So that is part of your... Give me just a second here. I'm trying to get this off. And then as we look in the Nebraska area there, we are seeing wet road conditions across the area. We do expect that to stick around as that does continue to bring us that chance of seeing some of those storms push across the area. Let me see if this will do what I want it to do. I don't think it will. Nope. So my next slide that I was going to do is unfortunately not working for me. So that's going to kind of figure with that. One other model we want to take a look at here is going to be our GFS model and kind of see what we are looking at for that precipitation and what the timing of the GFS says here. So we'll put things into play here. About that 00 Zulu, so that's going to be about that 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock time frame is when we start to see some of this moisture start to come in. About that 06 Zulu, so about that midnight time frame. Sorry, for some reason I'm getting a ding. We are starting to see about that 06 Zulu, so about midnight is when we start to expect to see some of that heavier stuff move through. And then we do see those ice accumulations further up northward. The GFS does keep the low pressure system right over us, does keep that sticking around for a while. So again, our concern that we're going to have to watch is going to be the freeze line and kind of see what we are watching when that freeze line does push through. Give me just a moment here. We'll pull up the ice accumulation according to the GFS as well. So if we go that 63 hours out there, you can see where the ice accumulation is going to be the thickest is going to be up northeastward portions of South Dakota, which is what we are seeing there. So definitely going to be seeing some of this mixed precipitation, these ice accumulations over the course of the next 48 hours is what we're really going to have to pay attention to. Kind of see what things ramp up there for that. As we transition back here, this is not going to do what I want it to do. Figured out what the binging is, and it's on my end. So we'll let this run just for a brief second here. At some point here, I do zoom into the Sioux Falls area, and we can actually give a little more of a detailed here as this does start to ramp up. Again, we're just waiting on this to run its course. It's not, unfortunately, it's not letting me control it, so I can't adjust the timing on this. So give me. I'm just waiting on this to finish running. I certainly do apologize. Give me just a brief second here. All right, here we go. We're going to zoom in and actually do it hour by hour here and kind of be able to tell. We're going to start this map at 7 o'clock this morning, 8 o'clock this morning. As it does continue to progress there, about that 12 o'clock time frame there, we do start to see some isolated. 2 o'clock, we start to see some isolated cells starting to pop up. But I'm not too confident this is going to hold. This is going to be mostly, in my opinion, this is picking it up, but it's not going to reach the ground. So then as we do put this map into motion here, we do start to see things really ramp up about that 6 o'clock time frame and then as you can see there, about that 7 o'clock, 7:15 time frame, this will continue to start to progress its way northeastward and into the Sioux Falls area there about that 8 o'clock time frame, 9 o'clock, there about that 10, 11 o'clock time frame. We really do have things start to really ramp up there. We do have that mixed precipitation and snow chances move through the overnight hour. So again, we do see some stronger cells creating here. So do not be surprised if you are woke up by some thunder, lightning, some stronger storms pushing through. We don't expect anything severe. They're about 9 o'clock in the morning. We do expect things to start to change over to that snow. We can see some heavier bands pushing through as well through the day on tomorrow, Tuesday. We'll see this wraparound start to come back in here to play, and that'll create another round of snow. Good news there is through the overnight hours, we're not seeing much. However, for your commute, we're going to expect another round of that system starting to push through again. So we will continue to monitor this system. We'll continue to watch this very closely as things really start to ramp up. Things are really going to play a factor as far as the snow or freeze line. It's really going to depend on where that freeze line sets up, we're going to get, and exactly how bad this system is going to be. This low pressure system is moving around, and this is going to create that rebuilding. The southerly winds that we are getting is bringing that moisture into the air, so that is bringing those chances as well. So we'll continue to monitor this snow system, monitor the chances of seeing the severe weather push through, and we'll see what kind of happens. The Storm Prediction Center does have us, as we do take a look again real quick at that. The Storm Prediction Center does have us on that thunderstorm chances for tomorrow as well. So again, we are going to see that push through. Let's take a quick look. Hold on. One thing I want to take a quick look at. Some of you are asking total of precipitation. Now we went 12-14. About an inch of rain for the Sioux Falls area over the course of the next 48 hours. Hurley, Freeman, Salem, Howard, Madison, Brookings, DeSmet, Yankton area there is we're looking about that inch of rain over the course of the next 48 hours on top of this already melted snow. We do expect to see some of those heavier snow totals push through. That did not transfer over, and I certainly do apologize. We do expect to see some isolated heavier rain totals with that storm that's pushing out of Nebraska there. We will see that chances of seeing some heavier rain in some pocketed areas as well. That'll create some of that as chances of that as well. Again, it's all going to depend on where this freeze line sets up. Is going to depend on what we're going to see. So that's really going to play a factor. So we'll kind of really monitor this over the next 12 to 24 hours. This will give us a better idea of what we're going to see. It definitely 12 hours is going to play some factors here. So we'll continue to monitor the weather. We'll continue to monitor things as things really start to come into play. And we'll really start to see things ramp up here over the next 12 hours. Stay tuned with T Storm Chasers as I bring you the latest weather news and information, and as our team brings you the latest news of incidents around the area. Thanks for joining us, guys.